right, so today I wanted to hop on and talk about a really cool plugin called Shape from Oikla Audio, which I was asked to review. Now that stands for Spectral Harmoniser Auditory Perceptual Enhancer. So luckily for us, they took something super complex and simplified it, just like the plugin. So let's take a look. Shape is a really simple and intuitive way to account for a rather complex algorithm. Our ears hear frequencies differently depending on the volume, especially in the lows and the highs. So what Shape does is it makes it feel louder without actually being much louder. Here's how I've used it. So first, I have it on the mix bus, just to give it a little nudge, a little beef, and a little air. Bypassed. And then enabled, but we can actually push this pretty far before we worry about distortion. Or if we had too much low and too much high. But also, actually, my favorite way to use this has been little nudges throughout the mix. So the cool part is, I felt like the short strings could use a little more air and a little more low-end beef. So enabled, disabled. But if we want to go a little more drastic with it, or we could cut. Now the cool part is we have one knob and 3 buttons. So these buttons, here it will only affect the low end. Here's the low end and the high end, and just the high end. So I really liked the effect on these strings. It just gave them a little more oomph without actually getting too much more aggressive. So then on my Epic Hits, I did it a little differently. And so I don't know about you, but I like to mix very bass heavy. And then I kind of let the highs sort themselves out after I figure out the low end. So what I did here was, I actually did a little bit of a cut on just the lows. Disabled. You can hear the difference in the boominess, and we can make it a little more exaggerated. Or if you needed more low end. But this is already a pretty busy mix, so I like to just a slight cut here on the low end. Now, I normally do this with EQ, but the curve of this is actually more flattering to my ear than the usual cuts that I do, which is really cool. So, otherwise, here's what it sounds like with just the lows and highs. Perfect cut. Or just the highs. So, we'll put it back how it was. Then all together. So in short, I highly recommend Shape. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of some of the adjustments that are necessary throughout the mix and does it in a way that sounds pretty unique, and just feeling louder without actually being louder can be a really powerful thing and honestly helps save your ears. So that's my take on it. Enjoy Shape.